All right. Welcome everyone to the 3B solution, losing weight without diets, without cardio, or without restriction of things that you love, like time with family and friends, or maybe the occasional drink now and then. My name is Paul Levitin. I am the creator and CEO of the Healthy, Happy Human Academy. Thank you for being here, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on the replay. And today I'm going to be breaking down in this masterclass the 3B solution, which is the program I created to help my clients that I've helped hundreds of clients lose weight, but more importantly, build healthy lifestyles, right? That's what we're going to talk about today. People talk about that word a lot. Like, how do I have, it's not about diets. It's not about exercise. It's about a lifestyle. But what does that mean exactly? Right? What exactly is a healthy lifestyle? So that's going to be a big part of this presentation. I'm going to aim for this to be about 30 minutes. If you have any questions, if you're watching this live, feel free to drop your questions in the comment box. I'll get to them at the end. If you're watching this on the video replay, feel free to drop the questions in the comments or in the Facebook group, or to DM them to me specifically, but I will answer any and all questions about this stuff. And for anyone who watches through the end of the presentation, I do have a special gift that I will be giving away to everyone who wants it at the end of the presentation. All right. So the 3B solution, who is this for? Well, this is for you if you're tired of feeling stuck, right? If you feel like you've done all of the stuff, you've tried all of what's out there, right? I get on sales calls all the time with potential clients and they tell me things like, well, I've done everything. I've tried the low carb, I've tried the intermittent fasting, I've done the boot camp classes, I've done the keto, I've done the this, I've done the that, I've gained the weight, I've lost the weight, I've started the gym, I've quit the gym, I've done all of this stuff. And it feels like no matter what I do, I end up right back where I started. And I just feel stuck. I feel frustrated, right? So if you've ever felt yourself in that place before, know that this is exactly where you need to be. And this is created just for you, right? And this is for people who are ready to make a real change, a change that will last forever. When I help someone to lose weight, to build healthy habits, to change their mindset, to change their life, I do it for good. I do not do this to help you lose weight for 6 weeks, to help you trim down for the summer, to help you fit into a suit for a wedding or something like that. If that's what you want, there are easier ways to do this. The stuff that I want to talk about today is stuff that is going to make real lasting change for you. And it's for people who are ready to level up and to be the type of person who makes lifelong change and stops looking for quick fixes and band-aids. All right. So if you're that type of person, these are people like my past clients who some of their success stories you can see here. There's my, Rimus on the left there with his beautiful children, and Johnny in the middle, Carla at the end there. And all of these people lost weight with the 3B solution, and they did it without restrictive diets. They did it without slaving away for hours of cardio on the gym, running on the treadmill, or whatever things that they hate. And they did it without giving up things like social events with friends, like, dinner and drinks with their loved ones, or whatever it is that they hold close to them. They did it all in a way that fit their lifestyle rather than trying to restrict themselves away. And that's why they were able to have not just success, but long-term success, and why they've maintained the weight that they lost and the lifestyle that we helped them build. So the 3B solution stands for brain, body, and being, right? And this is, to me, the full encapsulation of what a human is and what I want to help everyone be and flourish with. So brain is your mindset, right? It's the mental piece. It's what goes on up here between the ears. Okay. Body is the physical, right? That's your fitness. That's your actual, what are we putting into your body to fuel it? That's your sleep. These are all the different things that affect your physical well-being. And then your being is the spirit. It's the soul. It's your environment. It's the people that you interact with. It's your friends and your family, because these things affect us as well, right? If you're in a relationship, if you have kids, if you're a parent, of young kids versus a parent of teenagers, if you're a parent of multiple kids versus a parent of one kid, again, if you're single versus in a relationship, if you work in an office, all of these things affect the way that you can or will live, eat, act, drink, exercise, everything is affected by everyone, right? No man is an island. And your spirit affects others, right? How you come into the world, how you present yourself every day affects the people that you interact with, and the way that they receive you affects you back, right? So all of this stuff is a part of what we have to work on. And when you put those three things together, they form the three pillars of health and happiness. And that's what I help my clients work on, because when you have all three of those pillars, we have healthy, happy humans. But you need all three pillars, because there is no one without the other. So just before I really dig into things, I just want to talk a little bit about who I am, because some of the people watching here might know me. Some of you guys might not. Some of the people watching on the video recording might not know me. My name is Paul Leviton. I'm a health and happiness coach, and I created the Healthy Happy Human Academy, as well as the Healthy Happy Human podcast. Before that, I spent 10 years as a personal trainer and as a nutrition coach. I'm a public speaker, a podcaster. I'm a tattoo collector. Obviously, you can see in the picture, you can see my arms here. I have a lot of tattoos. I like to climb rocks. I like to bike ride. And I just like to be active, healthy, and happy. And I created the Healthy Happy Human Academy and the 3B solution because of my 10 years as a personal trainer and a nutrition coach. I spent that time watching and understanding that what is out there as a solution for people's weight loss is not working. Meaning, there's all the gyms in the world, there's all the nutrition coaches in the world, there's all the meal plans in the world, and yet 75% of American adults are overweight or obese. Every single person watching this has tried a diet and failed, has tried a workout routine and quit, and has done all of those things and not gotten the results that they want. So clearly, just exercising and eating right, although it seems that simple, is not the answer. And it took me working in a gym and working with hundreds and hundreds of clients and testing what would work and what wouldn't for me to come up with what I have here now, which is the Healthy Happy Human Academy, the 3B solution. And that's why I brought in the other pillars, right? Going back to the 3B solution, brain, body, and being. So that's what I realized: when everything else doesn't focus on the mental, that's one pillar gone. It doesn't focus on the being, that's two pillar gone. All they're focusing on is the body, right? Just go to the gym, just work out harder, just eat less, just count your calories. All they're thinking about is one single pillar. But what that does is that takes away two pillars. And we know that this structure cannot stand with only one pillar. So what I saw was that people were working so hard, and they were working hard, right? Anyone watching this might know, they're like, I've tried, I've done the thing. This is not from a lack of effort, right? I tried the diets, I went to the gym, I did this stuff, but it didn't click. It didn't work. Why? Because we're only focused on one of the three pillars. And when you're only focused on one of the three, it does not support you in the way that you need to lead a full, healthy life, right? It can hold up like that for a little while, right? You can just diet and exercise and you can lose weight for the summer, right? You can lose 10 or 15 pounds, but more often than not, as you, I'm sure, have experienced, you will gain that weight back, right? You can do low carb or do some weird over the top exercise routine for a couple weeks, maybe a month, but more often than not, you're not going to be able to sustain it. You're going to stop doing that thing, and then you're going to slide back into old patterns. Right? And that's what this is all about. This is about sustainability, and this is about breaking you out of those old patterns that have gotten you to this point. A certain pattern of actions have gotten you to where you are right now. And if you want to change that, it's about changing the patterns. And to do that, we need to change everything, all three of the pillars, not just the physical. Because when you don't have these two pillars and you're only on one, you're not a healthy, happy human, right? This is frustration. This leads to burnout. This is spinning your wheels, doing the same thing over and over, which we all know doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. So to break this down, as I said, the 3B solution: brain, body, being. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the brain. And this is where I start with all of my clients. Understand that for everyone watching this, the 3B solution is usually a 6-week program that I work in depth with clients on a one-to-one basis. So this is a very brief overview. I obviously can't give to you in a 30-minute video everything that I would teach someone in a 6-week program. So I'm going to just try to hit the main key points that I think will really help you, and you'll be able to take a lot of value out of this. Okay, but this is literally just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to this. But for the mindset, for the brain portion, we have to understand long-term versus short-term thinking. The infinite game. And I'll get into what that is in just a second. And we have to understand that struggle leads to success. Okay. So playing the infinite game implies that there are finite and infinite games. Finite games being games that end. So chess is a finite game, right? Call of Duty is a finite game. These games have winners and losers. A race is a finite game. You know who wins, you know who loses. There's a beginning, there's an end. Life is an infinite game. There are no winners and losers. There's no definition of how to win at life. There is no set beginning. There is no set end. I mean, there is for each of us, but just life in general, there is not. We don't know when life is going to end. We don't know how it's going to end. There are no set of rules for life. It just goes on. So we have to understand that this is a long-term play. And most people who are doing traditional diets are doing them in a short-term mindset, because the word diet in itself implies that it's something that is going to end, right? What do people do? I'm going to diet for the summer. I'm going to diet till I can fit into those old pants. Well, I'm just going to do this diet to lose 20 pounds. And then, then I'm going to do whatever. That doesn't work because it implies an end date. It implies that this stuff gets to stop. Life does not end. Well, I mean, until it does, obviously, eventually it will end for each of us. But until that point, life just goes on. So if the way that we're eating is set up to only be beneficial for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and you have 80 years left on this planet, 50 years left on this planet, 40 years, 60 years, however many years left on this planet, those two things are directly at odds with each other. So that's why diets don't work, and why I do not set up my clients with diets, because you can't diet your way to success for the rest of your life. If you're the guy who says, hey, like, I don't care, I have my wedding coming up in 2 months and I just need to fit into this suit. Okay, then a diet could work in that scenario. You can diet your way down for 2 months because you can grit your teeth and bear it for a certain amount of time, right? If you told me to cut out all carbs for the next 2 weeks, I could probably do it. If you told me cut out all carbs for the next 2 months, maybe I could do it. If you say never have a carb again for the rest of your life, it's not going to work for me. I know that. So inherently, if I'm trying a low carb diet, I'm setting myself up for failure in the long term. So I have to come into this with the mindset of, this is not about a short-term fix. This is about the long game. This is about my life. This is the infinite game. Okay. And then the next thing I have to understand is that struggle leads to success. A lot of people get this backwards, and they think that when they're struggling, that it's something bad. They're like, oh my God, this is so hard. I must be doing something wrong. Right. It's like, oh, wow, like I messed up. And like, now, like I failed or something like that. Struggle is part of the process. You cannot achieve anything without struggling. But now the reason I have this picture here, if you know the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, because one porridge was too hot, one porridge was too cold, and one porridge was just right. And that's the thing we have to understand about struggle, because too much struggle, that's what I was just saying on the previous slide about, that's me trying to just never have a carb again. And that's too much struggle. It's something that I hate. It's something that I'm not going to be able to stick to. And it's something that is not sustainable in the long term. I'm not setting myself up for long-term success with that. But too little struggle, it doesn't push me. It doesn't stretch me. It doesn't push me outside of my comfort zone. So we need to understand that struggle is not to be feared, right? Struggle is part of the process. Failure is part of the process. Struggle is part of the process. Not enjoying it 100% of the time is part of the process, but we have to find that sweet spot of not too much, not too little, and have it be just right. And that's a big thing that I work with my clients on, is finding that sweet spot of, how are we pushing you hard enough that you're going to get some result, but not pushing you so hard that you're going to hate the process and you're not going to be able to stick to it. Because sustainability is the key, long-term success. But you need to embrace the fact that there is going to be some struggle involved. Right. So I say, we're not going to use diets with a name. We're not going to do low carb. We're not going to do, but you have to understand inherently, if you're trying to change the shape of your body, there has to be some give and take, right? If again, eating how you've eaten and doing what you've done physically has gotten you to where you are with your body and your health and your life, and you're not happy with those things, something has to change. And inherently that is going to involve some struggle. But my point is that you need to embrace it and lean into it rather than to be afraid of it, rather than to every time you bump up against something that is struggle, something that is hard, to go, oh, well, this must mean I'm doing something wrong. This was never going to be easy. It is never going to be easy. Even with my help as a coach, I cannot make it easy for you, right? I can make it easier, but I can't make this, just a day at the park with sunshine and rainbows. It's just never how it's going to be. Okay. 2, we're going to step, I know it's brain, body, being, but we're going to skip body for a minute, and we're going to go to being, because we're going to save body for last, because that's the easiest one, right? When you have brain, the mindset, and you have the being, the soul, the spirit, the environment, the body just comes, right? That's the last thing. People think that it's what they need to focus the most on. Like, oh, give me the perfect workout. Tell me the diet. That stuff is easy. When your mental is where it needs to be, the diet is easy. The what do I eat is easy. Everyone knows what to eat. No one sitting on this call, no one watching this video doesn't know how to lose weight. I'm sorry. It's just not the truth, right? You know that you should be eating less, probably greasy fried food, and you know that you should probably be eating more lettuce and tomatoes. You know that you should probably be drinking less beer and drinking more water. You know that you should probably be sitting and watching less Netflix, and you should probably be exercising more. Like, you know what to do. It's why are you not doing it, right? And that starts with the mindset and the mind, and then it starts with here in the soul of finding your why. It's the very first step. For those of you who have listened to my podcast, you know that episode number 1 is called Start With Why. And for those of you who haven't listened to the podcast yet, I encourage you, there are almost over 70 episodes at the time of recording this, but I encourage you to go all the way back to episode 1 and listen to Start With Why, because you need to find the why of why is this important? Why is the change that you are trying to make? If it's weight loss, if it's changing your mindset, if it's living healthier lifestyle, why is it important to you? Why does it matter? Okay. Why do you need to be a better person? And then why do you know the why of your goals? Okay. And then are you aligned with those goals, right? A goal of weight loss, does that match the life you want to live, right? I could say I want to lose 20 pounds, but I also want to be a competitive burger eater or something like that. Those two things might not be in alignment. They might not match up. So I need to check, is the person that I am living as and the perfect person that I want to be in alignment, right? If I am a father with 3 young kids and a wife and a busy job, but my goal is to be a competitive bodybuilder and only eat grilled chicken and steamed rice, those two things might not be in alignment. And I need to check myself before I set myself up for failure with those things. So, a big thing comes to, why do you want to lose weight, right? And I ask my clients this a lot, and I always say why at least 5 times, because people will say, well, I want to lose weight. Why? Well, because I'll feel better. Why? Why does it matter? Well, because I'll be more confident, because I'll like the way I look. Why? Why does it matter? Why will you like the way you look at 20 pounds lighter than you do right now? If you don't like the way you look, if you want to change something about yourself, you can do it, but you need to have a deep-seated reason. This part can't be overlooked, because, as I said before, struggle is a part of the process. You are going to face a time when the exercise routine that you're doing, you don't want to do. The diet, the nutrition plan that you're on, whatever you want to call it, you don't want to do, right? The mindset, the reading, the assignment, whatever the thing is, you're not going to want to do it because it's inherently hard, right? Struggle is part of the process. The thing that keeps you on the path when you don't want to do the thing that you know you need to do is having a deep internal why. And it's, again, a personal why for why am I trying to live my life this way, but also a why for each goal. Why is it important to lose 20 pounds? Why is it important for me to go to the gym today? Why are all of these things necessary for me to become the person who I want to be? And that's what I need to remember. And that's what keeps me going, because consistency and sustainability, you're going to keep hearing these words pop up. These are the name of the game. So the next thing in the soul is values and alignment, right? And if you've ever read the book Atomic Habits or heard of it, it's a very famous book. I highly recommend it. But the author James Clear talks about this concept of what is your value system. The type of person I am does things like this, right? So for myself, I don't look for motivation to exercise. because I am a healthy person. It is what I view myself as, and I do not need motivation to live my life in alignment with my values. A healthy person does this. A healthy person exercises. The person that I want to be lives their life like this, right? People talk about a lot about how hard it is to change a habit and how hard it is to build these things. But ask any woman who has found out she was pregnant and then stopped smoking that day, or a father who found out his girlfriend or wife was pregnant and stopped smoking or drinking alcohol that day. Is it hard? Yes, but it's 100% possible because the person that they are changed. They went from being a smoker to being a dad. And because of that change in their values and who they are as a person, it allowed them to change their actions and their habits, right? A smoker, a 2-pack-a-day smoker lives their life one way. A dad who wants to set a good example for their son lives their life in another way. So if I understand my values, that becomes an internal compass that guides the way that I live my life. Again, I'm not talking about the food that you put into your mouth. This stuff will come inherently when you have these things down, when you understand your values, when you understand who you want to be as a person. It makes these decisions so much easier. And now we get to the body piece, right? So I left this piece for last because I think this is the easiest part. If I work with someone, I spend the least amount of time on this and the actual parts of food and exercise, because it's so easy. Once we have the mindset conquered, the body just falls into place. But in body, I break this up into 2 pieces: tactical, and these are like actual action steps. So I'm going to give you some tactical action steps that you can start to take right now today. If losing weight is your goal, so that you have something to like actually lean on. And then we're going to talk about some of the more intangible pieces of what it takes to live a healthy life, right? And again, not lose weight for a couple weeks, not lose weight that you're going to gain back 6 months from now, but to live a lifestyle. So the first, on the tactical side of things, these are the basics. Count your calories, right? Either in an app like MyFitnessPal is one I recommend all my clients use. I don't make anyone use it, but if they do want to count calories, I embrace it because I think it's a very smart thing for most people to do. Or at the very least, learn how to understand nutrition labels. Make sure you read nutrition labels. Are you looking at the calories when you go to a restaurant, right? Any chain restaurant now legally has to have calories on the menu. But studies have shown that most people don't even look at those calories. Now, it might just be that they're trying to be willfully ignorant, but most people don't look at the calories on the menu. Most people don't know how to read a nutrition label. Most people don't understand. If I ask the average person, hey, how many calories do you think you eat per day? Again, most people, A, don't know. B, if they do know, studies have shown that their guesses are grossly out of whack. Most people cannot estimate the range of calories that they eat within like a 50% ratio, meaning you might say 2,000, but it really is 2,500 or 3,000. And that's a huge difference. That's the difference between you gaining weight and losing weight. Okay. The next thing, it's called the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, I want to eat good. And I don't like to put labels on as good and bad, but we know, just like I said before, you probably know most of the time what you need to be doing to lose weight and what you need to be doing to gain weight. So when you're eating McDonald's, you probably know, I'm probably not supposed to be doing this if my goal is weight loss. When you're eating a salad and drinking a kale smoothie, you're probably like, this is probably a good thing for my overall body composition goals. And what we want to do is just be on that side of winning that battle 80% of the time. And this is important because we're not asking for perfection, right? I said that struggle is part of this. You are going to struggle. So it's going to be hard to get to that 80%, but that 20% is what makes this livable. And what makes the 20% where you're able to not be perfect, where you're able to eat the things that maybe you wouldn't have if you were trying to have a perfect diet. So this is why this becomes able to become a lifestyle, because now it's not about being perfect all of the time. This allows for things like going out for dinner with your significant other or with friends. This allows for a weekend wedding or something like that. This allows for, oh, my boss is taking everyone out for dinner at the end of the day, and I don't want to be the guy who doesn't go with the team or something like that. All of these things are life things that will happen. If you do not prepare for them, if you do not plan for them to happen, you will inevitably get thrown off, right? Most people, they have the same story. Like, well, I was dieting and it was going so good. I was eating all the right things and I made my salad and then I did the thing and I drink my smoothie. Oh, but then I had a wedding come up out of town at my cousin's, and like, it was a buffet and I just went off the rails and I just ate. It's like, okay, well, like, weddings happen all the time. You probably go to 3 or 4 of them a year. All right. So we know that's going to happen. Oh, well, I was doing so good and I was going to the gym and I was doing all this stuff, but then Thanksgiving came, then Christmas came, then summer vacation came. All of these things come every year, literally like clockwork, right? There is never going to be a time, or my favorite, oh, well, I'm pretty good during the week, but then I'm bad on the weekends. The weekend is always coming. It's always going to be there. So if you don't have a way to make what you're doing sustainable in all of those scenarios, you're inherently setting yourself up for failure, right? And this is why diets don't work, because of a rigid diet of never eat carbs, of only eat paleo, of only eat between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. or something like that. It doesn't allow for life, right? Okay, I can do intermittent fasting where I'm only eating from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Until I go to a wedding, until me and my friends rent an Airbnb and like we're all hanging out together all weekend, till my nephew wants me to take him out for pancakes on a Sunday morning. What happens then? Oh, well, then I throw it out the window because I'm being too rigid, right? Instead, again, I want to stick to the 80-20 rule. I'm going to try to stick to whatever my thing is 80% of the time and leave myself that 20% flexibility. And then the last tactical thing, the easiest thing you can do, is to just cook more at home and eat out less. Inherently, anything you eat outside of the house, it has more calories. It's just factual. People, if you buy something at a restaurant, even if you buy a healthy thing, the goal of that restaurant is not to make you skinny. The goal of that restaurant is to make you come back for more. And they do that by making it taste good. And you know what tastes good is oils, fats, carbs, sugars, all that type of stuff. All the stuff that probably is not the most ideal, that adds more calories, is the stuff that you probably want to be eating less of. That stuff that a restaurant or a fast food place or any other type of place like that is going to use more of. And that's stuff that you can regulate on your own if you want to have it and cook it at home. Meaning, if you want to have a burger that you cook at home is, I guarantee you can make with less calories than a burger you buy out. A pizza you make at home, French fries you make at home. So this is another way to trick by not saying, it's not like, oh, I can never have a burger again, but I'm going to make my burger at home so I can be in control of what it is. Right? It's not, I'm never going to have a pizza again, but I'm going to, instead of ordering Domino's, where a pie is like 1,500 calories, I'm going to do pizza night at home with the kids, and we're going to make that, and we're going to do it for half the calories and frankly half the price. So you'll save money, you'll save time, you will get better results, and all of this just becomes a way that this is now a sustainable thing, right? I didn't say don't have a hamburger. I didn't say never have a pizza. I didn't say, oh, if your friends are having a wedding or drinks out, that you should skip it. No, I said that you should learn how to understand calories. You should try your best 80% of the time, but give yourself leeway 20% of the time. And you should try to make more food at home and eat out less. I mean, I can't get any simpler than that. And that's the tactical side of eating. But then we have the intangibles. And this is what I call, this is actually the important stuff. Again, this stuff that you've I'm sure heard before, or maybe not, but it's out there, right? This is the stuff that I really care about. And it's things like what I call listening to your body. The human body will tell you what it wants. There's a reason that as we start to gain weight, we start to feel more icky, right? My joints start to hurt. I feel sluggish. My chest gets heavy. It's hard for me to breathe, because the human body functions best at a certain weight. It functions best when it's able to do certain things. And that's why we need daily movement. I'm not saying you need to go to the gym every day. I'm saying you need to move your body every day. That can go for a walk. You can dance. You can do Zumba. You can play with your kids. You can walk the dogs. You can ride your bike. I don't care what you do, but you should be moving your body every day. Now, this comes to a time management thing, which is a big thing that I work with my clients on, because it's like, people are like, well, I don't have time for that. Of course you do. You just don't prioritize it. So if you need help with that, that might be something worth reaching out for. Another thing is eating mindfully, right? Most people just eat. They barely even taste the food because they're so distracted. We're scrolling on our phones, we're watching TV, we're just shoveling the food in our mouth. Inherently, the human body has shutoffs, right? Most people, unless we're missing some certain hormones in our brain, will not just eat until we pop, right? Because you might do it once or twice, but you won't do it again, right? Like someone, people always push back when I say this, and I'll go, well, like, if you ate, like, people are like, if I could just eat whatever I wanted to eat mindfully, I would just eat Ben and Jerry's every day, all day. I guarantee you, if you ate a pint of Ben & Jerry's today and then a pint of Ben & Jerry's tomorrow, by the third day, your stomach and your brain would be like, dude, we do not want to see another Ben & Jerry's for a while, because your body will tell you. But in order for that to happen, you have to allow it to talk to you. And that's what mindful eating is. Because if you're eating fast, if you're eating distracted, if you're eating when you're on your phone, you don't give your brain a chance to catch up to what you're shoveling in your mouth. And that's why you end up finishing a whole pack of Oreos or the large Big Mac, the large Coke, the large fries, the large milkshake. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so full. My stomach hurts. Clearly you didn't need all that food, but your brain didn't have time to shut off because you weren't being mindful of what you're eating. So understanding and learning mindful eating practices is a great way to start to control your food intake without changing what you eat, right? If I was just eating that same McDonald's meal mindfully, I probably would have stopped, wouldn't have had the milkshake, would have had only half the fries, and I would have felt completely good because I still ate the Big Mac. I still had some fries. I still enjoyed the meal, but now I did it in a more mindful way where I ate more slowly and I enjoyed the food. I tasted the food. I didn't just shovel it in my mouth shamefully. And now it's like, okay, now I'm not feeling restricted because it's not like I can never have a burger and fries again, but I did it in a way that was in line with my values. Going back to what I was saying before about what type of person are you? Am I the type of person who shovels food in their mouth, or am I the type of person who feeds my body because I love it, right? So because I have a certain set of values and I eat in a way that is indicative of that, I don't have to now, again, diet, cut out foods. I can eat whatever I want, okay? And the last thing is avoid triggers, right? This goes back to the soul, the community aspect. That's what I was saying before about you can't take yourself out of the world. There are inherently things go on around you that will affect you. Again, your girlfriend or your boyfriend wants to go out for dinner. You have a party to go to. Your friends are getting drinks, right? All of these things affect you, right? It's been scientifically proven. They've done studies. A secretary at her desk with a jar of candy on her desk versus the secretary at her desk with a jar of candy is just at the desk, but out of arm's reach, meaning it's still on her desk, but it's just out of the reach of her arms. The woman where she could literally just lean forward and grab the candy. The one where the candy is within arm's reach eats 3 to 4 times more candy in the course of a day, 3 to 4 times more. So just the simple thing of moving it out of arm's reach drastically affects how much candy she eats. Okay. So now we can think about things like, where do I keep the cookies? Do I keep cookies in the house? What are my trigger foods, right? If I myself, Oreos are my thing. You hear me talk about Oreos a lot because if I have a pack of Oreos, I will eat the whole thing. There is no, oh, look at a serving of Oreos is 3 Oreos. There's no such thing as me eating 3 Oreos. I'll tell you that right now. And I know that about myself. So I don't get a pack of Oreos because I know if I buy a pack of Oreos, I will eat the entire thing of Oreos. That's me curating my environment. Okay. If no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I never eat Oreos. I'm just saying, like, I know that if I bring a pack of Oreos into my house, that I'm going to eat the whole thing. So I only do that when I'm okay with that. All right. So avoiding those triggers. Same thing with drinking. Same things with eating out. If I go to a restaurant, like, am I going to a restaurant that has all the smells? Am I going to a Cinnabon where it's just like, oh, like these are things that affect us. These are things that are outside of us, but they definitely affect us. And if I set up my environment in a certain way, again, if I set up my environment where the jar of candy is away from me on the desk, I don't even have to think about it because, again, that is an internal psychological trigger that I am not setting off. So these little tricks now, again, get me away from having to diet, having to do the cardio, having to do all the things that we don't want to do, because instead I'm just setting up my life in a way that is indicative of the person that I want to be. Okay. And that's it. It really is that simple. So, like, can it all be that simple? So you're telling me just work on your mindset, just, find your why and just, eat mindfully. Is it really that easy? The answer is yes, it really is that easy. I showed you the results on that very first slide of some of my clients, and I have dozens and dozens of more. If you want to see more results of clients that I've worked with in the past, just send me a DM. I will send you countless of that. And this is the thing about simple things. Because it's so simple, people think that it's too easy and they don't do it, right? Oh, well, just exercise and eat less. Yeah, it's so simple. Why isn't everyone doing it? Because sometimes when things are too simple, people stop doing the thing. Consistency and long-term sustainability. That's what we're going for. If you do what I'm telling you, not for a few days or a few weeks, but for a year, 2 years, your life will change. Inherently, when you're eating more mindfully, when you're deeply in tune to your why, when you're living in accordance with your values, right? When you have the right mindset, when you're embracing struggles and failures as success and not setbacks, you are going to start to look better, feel better, move better. All of these things will just happen because you're eating and living your life in accordance to those values, and the changes have to come. It takes time, and that's why we need the sustainability piece. But this is how long-term positive change is made. It's not through trying to force yourself into some restrictive diet. It's not through going to some boot camp classes 3 times a week and just trying to sweat. It's through sustainable small changes that you can keep for the rest of your life. So just to recap, you can succeed if you think long-term rather than short-term. Remember, you're playing the infinite game. Okay? Forget about losing weight. This is not about weight loss. This is about living healthy. And then weight loss will happen. That's the trick of it. That's the mind fuck. It's like, you don't have to think about losing weight and you'll lose the weight. Whereas if you're obsessed with weight loss and all you're thinking about, how can I lose weight? How can I sweat more? How can I cut calories? What's the scale saying? That's when you're thinking short term and you're never going to actually lose the weight. And that's when you get stuck in that yo-yo cycle, right? And if you can just work with your body, learn to listen to your hunger cues, learn to curate your environment rather than trying to fight and swim upstream, right? You're swimming against the current when you're having a house full of all the things that are tempting to you, and you're just trying to avoid carbs because someone told you that carbs were bad, and you're just trying to, again, run it off the next day because you're like, oh, I ate bad, so I'm just going to run and do cardio. Or you're trying to do this restrictive diet even though you have a social event coming up this weekend and you know that everyone around you is going to be eating and it's going to be tempting you. Like, stop fighting upstream, learn to listen to and work with your body, and think about that as a long-term solution rather than a short-term fix. And that's it. As I said earlier in this presentation, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like I said, the 3B solution is a 6 to 12 week program, and I'm opening seats for the 3B solution intensive. If you want to learn how to take all of what I just talked about and implement it in a way that is built specifically for you, for your lifestyle, for your unique situation with your job, your kids, your marital situation, and everything else, where you live, that's what this situation is about. Then that's what this intensive is about. So if you're interested in that, contact me directly through the DMs, or if you're interested in learning about becoming a one-on-one VIP client, where I literally walk you through this step by step and hold your hand through the entire process so that I can guarantee your results, then you can reach out about that as well. But like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I literally cannot give you all the stuff that I would give you in a 6-week program in this one thing, but I really hope that this was helpful. And like I said, I did promise everyone who watched till the end a free gift. And what I'm going to do is, I talked about tracking calories before, and I know that like sometimes I talk about that, and I said that, this is something I don't tell people they have to do, but if people who want to do it, it is something that can be very helpful. But for a lot of people, it can be quite daunting. So what I'm going to do is I put together a calorie tracking guide that teaches you how to track your calories, along with a grocery list and all that kind of stuff that will help you if you've never done that before and you want to learn about the tactical side about, okay, like I want to learn how to track my calories, but I don't even know where to start. I will send you a free guide to teach you all how to do that. Just reach out to me in a DM or reach out to me on the side and let me know that you want that free guide. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you for being here. And once again, if you're ready to take the next step, if you're ready to figure out how this looks for you specifically in your life, reach out to me. We'll hop on a free consultation call and we'll see if this is something that would help you make this change. All right. Thank you very much.